This video is all about how to make money actually playing Sorare. I'm going to lay out for you the 3 main routes to go while I review my performance for the 22-23 season, as well as set some goals for the 23-24 season to show you exactly how it's done. In preparation for the video, I've had to roll back through the calendar. I've had to go back through my club and see exactly where we came from to this point now to evaluate everything today. And wow, this has been a long year. We've had the World Cup. We've had an incredible domestic and European campaign on the actual pitch for football that has felt like it went on forever. But for Sorare, it was the first full season from start to finish where we had limited cards, and throughout the season Sorare went on from strength to strength, increasing the prize pool, increasing the amount of money that's actually paid out, not just on the podium places but in some divisions all the way back to the top 100 and 300, as well as starting to issue out money cannot buy experiences as rewards for playing fantasy football. I got to play on the pitch at Anfield as a part of a community experience, which was fantastic. But also we had the winners of the World Cup tournament playing a 5-a-side game of football with Zidane. And obviously at the turn of the year, we had the highlight of the year. The English Premier League finally joined, finally partnered on with Sorare. And it feels like now coming into this season, it is going to be monumental. At any point in the video, if you laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe to the channel, share and retweet and all that good stuff. Stay out of trouble and let's just get stuck straight into it. If you are new around here, Sorare is 5-a-side fantasy football. You need to buy your cards to play in the good competitions where you're going to be actually making money. And as I just mentioned in the intro, the primary route to goal, the main way of making money from playing Sorare is by winning fantasy football competitions. Now, in the main divisions, which are called All-Star at the moment, there is money paid out for top 10, top 30, top 100, top 300, depending on the colour of the cards that you're playing with. The different colours are obviously cheaper and more expensive, and subsequently there's more money involved for playing with the high roller cards versus the cheap beginner cards, the bargain basement ones as it were. The pick up and play limited cards, the yellow ones. If you're new to Sorare and you haven't even started yet, there's a link in the description in this video that will actually get you a free limited card once you've bought 5 from the market. It's the best way to sign up and start playing. If you do enjoy the video today, by clicking on that link, you actually support me and all the content that I make here. So really, it goes a long way to supporting me, and I thank you in advance if you do so. If you sign up to Sorare and you haven't clicked that link, you're 1 card worse off than everyone else. It's the best way to sign up. It is the way everyone signs up. And if you do get stuck, you've got any questions or anything, just jump into the comments section and I'll come and help you out. Now, I think we'll start off with the kind of flashy stuff. What was the best cards I won? What were all the cards I won over the last season? Now, I'm doing this from 1st of July to 1st of July because of when I'm recording this and everything else. And, the football calendar's been a bit wonky because of the World Cup, because of lockdowns and everything else in between, But I'm judging this from game week 283 is 1 year ago today. That's the 1st of July game week. We had a deadline change around there. And I won Nacho at Real Madrid. That was the first card I won a year ago today. And I was still playing limiteds quite heavily, as you can see here. Mainly limited rewards and some tier 1, some tier 3 rares and super rares of different qualities and statures. But you can see quite quickly, one of the headline victories of the year came very, very quickly. And Kyogo Furuhashi for finishing second. That was a podium position. And Challenger Super Rare. I had a Kyogo and a Vissel Kobe shirt, so 1-1 in the Celtic shirt. I've obviously still got that card. It was a major win for me. There's a great video. I'll probably put it in a wee card up in the corner up there now if you want to go and check that out. It was a great reward opening. I absolutely had a great time that game week, and that was a huge win. It was probably one of my marquee wins of the year, and that happened really early on. As we'll see when we go through some of the transactions, there was a lot of surgery going on at FC Barcelona and the Sorare club around this period here. But as I can see, we're only at game week 302. We've actually won quite a lot of cards in quick succession, even without everything being all singing, all dancing. We run our first Rafi Guerrero. We got the number 10 there all the way back at the beginning of the season. A Sven Mignan limited. That's fun. Again, plenty of limiteds are coming into the gallery. Not many rares and super rares, it must be said. We've got a 3rd place finish here in specialist super rare to win a super rare goalkeeper, Benoit Costil. That was a podium. That was good to see. Lots of limiteds. We've got some custom series cards here from around the World Cup. I didn't really have much ammo in the World Cup, it must be said. A Sergio Camelo. Now, that was was when we discovered Sergio Camelo, was when we won that card, because he got a couple of decisives and a limited team for us quite quickly, and that was good fun. Balaquisha for finishing first in All-Star Super Rare was a big win. We won some ETH on that podium as well, and he was actually a really important card for a few game weeks. He came in quite useful for us. We then went on a nice tear here, a lot of top 10-ish kind of finishes in different divisions. Under 23 finishing 9th, All-Star Super Rare 7th, Underdog Rare 10th, Challenger Super Rare 5th. Good results here. Picking up some nice cards. Not a lot of them high value or anything, but 9th, Chris Ramos. 4th for Mickey Vanderhart there. Even 3rd there, James Ward-Prowse. We podiumed in All-Star Super Rare after they recently changed it, and we got a rare and a super rare paid out. So we got James Ward-Prowse, JWP, and we got Carlo Hossa. So that was another monumental victory at FC Barcelona, and relatively speaking, that wasn't actually that long ago. So when we look at game week 347 there was actually quite a lot of dead space here from the World Cup, where we lost a lot of momentum. We weren't really picking up rewards as frequently as we would have liked, and like I say, I know there was a lot of surgery going on in the club. Then after, obviously, we went on and we got some good wins towards the back end of the season. Ladero still in the club. Damon, we sold him, wish I kept him. Our second Rafa Guerrero, recently sold him. A couple more super rares for our troubles. One of them for finishing 3rd, another podium, Wilfie Nonto, high prospect wonder kid. Let's see where he goes. And in this last foray into the back end of the season here, we won a Levi Caldwell, Anderson Lopez, who cannot stop scoring goals. We sold him for a good bit of money. Caldwell we still have. These other guys we've sold. And then recently we won a Nicolo Zaniolo, which was a great prospect, great profile to come into the gallery. Challenger or champion, definitely under 23, forward for next year. So really happy with the card profiles and everything. Overall, we won last year, and lots of nice guys that I definitely wouldn't be going out into the market to buy. Lots of guys that came in useful, maybe for the odd game week or two, because there's game modes that are gone now called Specialist and Underdog, and like you've seen, I did quite well in some of them, and a lot of these rewards, particularly the super rares, did come in quite useful for the entries I was making there, so some nice card wins. These are the teams that actually went out and won some of these cards, so we'll have a quick flick through them and see if there's any key lessons I can pick up here from cards that overperformed, maybe guys that were toxic. They were always in bad, they're always kind of let a team down that could have shot a bit higher or something, I'm not too sure. But if we go all the way back to game week 383 here, the team that won the Nacho, full MLS stack, and then as you can see here, we're into this period of the season with not too much going on in Europe. We've got an under 23 team here. And amongst some limited cards that it's won, we've got some Celtic going. This is a fun team to see win a reward. Van de Voort no longer at the club. THB, 1 of 100, Tyler Adams, Captain Jota till I die, and Lucas Nemeka. I was against Ross County. That might have been the last game of the season for Celtic. And I think that might have been the same game week, 296. No, that was after that when we got Marquez. So yeah, the Callum McGregor, the Dyson Maeda, the Kyogo all coming in quite good for me. That was a great partnership back end of the season. Marquez, and then winning the Furuhashi, picking up a nice bit of Ethereum here for finishing second. And back then, you could play a rare goalkeeper in this division, which made the burden of playing up a division not quite as heavy. But yeah, against Hearts, really good result. The McGregor Unique didn't actually perform that well, so good to see we had the bones there. All-Star Rare Pro, Marcos Llorente coming in good in a D3 situation with that other super rare Kyogo that I had before I sold him. So we doubled up, we had 2 Kyogos for a while. That was great fun. Gave me good versatility and good options at the time, which I did enjoy. And now we had this in Underdog Limited. You can do this now in cap 220, basically, like I mentioned before, but you can play a common goalkeeper along with some limiteds on a low score. They're not great players kind of idea. This is a fun team. There won Joseph Martinez as well, John Tolkien, Lewis Morgan, and Carlos Miguel Coronel. I had a wee RB stack there with Captain Kyogo. Viviano there, super rare goalkeeper, leading a team there to 15th. Oh, this takes me back as well. We had Marcelino Nunes rocking 88 along with Captain Jota till I die. Kieran Trippier, probably his last reward at FC Barcelona as well, along with Van der Voort and goals. And those times were much simpler when we had super rare Tierney to call upon. That's the team that won Rafa Guerrero, Santi Rodriguez, Callens, Sean John coming in good, Captain Gold, love to see it. Braze Mendez back in the team as well. Nice rare pro division team, by the way, THB and Braze Mendez. Love to see them picking up rewards. THB was just a beast for me, man. Kyogo in D3 as well, very formidable. Even with only 28 points, he still managed to help out somehow. That must have been a surprise bench appearance or something like that. Yeah, bummer. Maybe he was suspected to be coming back from injury or something. Here's a specialist super rare team that finished third. So we had Craig Gordon before he broke his leg, Hatate in defence, Brais Mendes running midfield with Unal and Yangel Herrera. That is a fun specialist team in that one. A Benoit Costil that helped us out, and then we traded him. I think that helped us get Skorupski, who's a much better goalkeeper, obviously. Now, this was actually quite a funny one. We won a Kylian Kaibui, who went on to become a boss player, and we sold him for pennies. But Felix Nemeka, Gio Reyna, fun team. This must have been a wee cheeky half week, a wee midweek situation where there was only Celtic playing, but it just goes to show you guys, sometimes you know, 3 players, get 1 captain, and, you know, we weren't a Jonas David, we finished 9th, you know, so always play the team. You never know sometimes, you know, you can get lucky. Here's a team that finished first and won the Ballaquisha. Again, we picked up just under 0.4 Ethereum. Callum McGregor, big score against Livy. I think I was at this game with McBride and Hendo, if memory serves, so that was good fun. I don't think we kept the clean sheet, obviously. Hart letting us down there. Then the following game week, we had Captain Snoddy. Remember, Snodgrass was very useful for me. He was a really powerful super rare mid. Gordon, obviously great when he was playing, and wow, great performance from McGregor. What did we win that week? Rami Hajal, good profile. He's actually now in Denmark. He's maybe somebody to look at for this upcoming season. Couple of nice finishes here, 5th, 9th, and 4th. Winning some nice cards, different profiles of players, different heroes at FC Barcelona. Across game week 342 back to 333. So you've seen the Mogru get involved, seeing Snoddy, Elichunel. You know, I've got a lot of different faces reoccurring here, and it does feel like my wins and these teams are, you know, it does feel like it's quite important to catch guys on veins of form, and you can see a lot of these guys do reappear when they are in form a couple of game weeks in the trot. It is good to see Mogru actually did do a bit, because I was actually a bit nervous that he underperformed this year for the outlay that we made for that unique, that more expensive card. But yeah, lots of different mix and match teams across different scarcities, different divisions. Our wins definitely come in bunches, it has to be said. Some thresholds are getting realised here as well. Some interesting teams, Liam Scales, Gabri Vega. I'm having a lot of fun with these different mix and match teams that we're managing to put together to win cards. And yeah, I don't know if there's anything I've really pulled out of this in terms of like, oh, that was a great combination or anything, but it was quite nostalgic and good fun to see some of these guys actually featured for my club this season. I don't know what's more important to look at, the most important buys across the season or the most important sales. I think we'll start with buys in case any of them appear in the sales column. So if we go all the way back to when we won that Nacho back in the 1st of July a year ago today, we'll try and have a look at some of the key fails and some of the key acquisitions that we had come in. And right away on this screen, I can see I traded Ivor Pandur and Vinny Souza out for a Marcos Llorente super rare. Now, if I had my time again, I definitely would not do that. I do miss my Pandur, but Llorente, I think, could have a really big season. We're going to see a period here of me bringing in Edward Michu, Moritz Jens, some guys that are getting linked to Celtic all over the shop, and some of these backfired massively. But even within the last year, we have brought in like Mogru, Tati, a lot of low-value limiteds quite early on as well, which is interesting to see. And Brais Mendes here, you know, this deal was very good. I won Furuhashi right as he signed for Celtic, and he was really on fire. And he was worth about 2.5 going on 3 Ethereum. No, yeah, 2.5 Ethereum or so, 2.5, 2.2, something like that. And the Brais Mendes was formerly mine. Gaza offered me it back, and I managed to get 2 Ethereum plus my Brais back for a Kyogo. I remember I had 2 Kyogos, so that was definitely a big acquisition. Getting Brais back in, he helped. And I suppose that will come up in the sales column as well. Santi Rodriguez as well, huge purchase for the gallery, as was Gold and Barraza. Those jersey numbers, before jersey numbers were a thing, I was already out over a year ago hunting these things out. Same with O'Toole. And here comes Arnaud Tenas. Now, I just showed you that I relieved myself at the Pandur. Now, this is a strategy I've not got in full effect for this coming season, but like I mentioned earlier, backup goalkeepers are a great strategy to do if you've got spare money in the game, or if you're looking to get your first couple of goalkeepers without having the money to get a number one, is buying a couple of number two, almost number one, 1.5s, if you like. And Arnaud Tenas, like clockwork, you know, Pandur goes out, I've got to get him replaced in my gallery. Magno number 43 was a huge purchase. Tony Watt super rare was great fun, obviously, when he was firing away. And Felix Nemeka 9 months ago, that was a card. I just watched him playing for Wolfsburg, and I was like, I have to pick him up. He looks so good. The Kaiser was definitely an under 23 goalkeeper that was a real problem for everyone throughout the season. And I really do regret buying him. One of 10 Jan Kuto, Nordi Mukiele, who we've just rebought actually. or 1 of 100 Aaron Moy, or 1 of 100 McGeady, or 1 of 10 Craig Gordon, Snodgrass as well. A lot of good serial number cards coming in here. And this was back in October time, so we actually seen these guys winning a lot of cards for me. I guess it must have been through November and December, and they only actually came into the club middle of October. So it's good to see guys that come into the club but generally do hit the ground running. There's a lot of basketball stuff here, so we'll come to that in a moment, because that's a bit of a speed bump that hit me this season in my football ascent, as it were. A lot more of these NYCFC jersey numbers are flooding in. Also, people give me cards for giveaways and stuff like that. Put a lot against Yuki Kobayashi as well at the time. David Marshall we got in actually very cheap. That's reassuring, because he's going to be a problem this year. And then we managed to do a lot of trades, in basketball, get bigger cards in. We'll talk about that later. And then we're going after like Kufri, Orod. This wasn't that long ago, yeah. So it doesn't feel like we've made that many amazingly big purchases, in Sorare itself, in the football side of things. We've also did some massive trades to acquire some cards, that we're keeping. But I don't see any acquisitions here. Like Skorupski's only 5 months old. Edward. And then we get on to a few bigger ones. Gabri Vega. Now, I had to give quite a lot of rares over for that, it looks like. But I'm really glad I did at that time. I know his form on SO5 hasn't totally repaid yet, but I think it will. I think that's a great deal looking at it again now for Kieran Tierney, Cisniega and Lewis Morgan. Yes, please. No problem at all. And again, look, Cisniega, a backup goalkeeper who was playing, his value had risen in the market, and that helped me get into a good position. We reacquired Memphis Depay, that's good fun. And then a lot of these rewards again that we're talking about. Sviatchenko came into the club recently. We did get a Carter Vickers when we sold Carlo Hosa, but we ended up trading him out for somebody different again. I forget who now. Matt O'Reilly jersey number. This all came in right before collection bonus came in, as did the Maxi Morales. Oh, that's how I got Vickers. Maxi Morales signature card. So yeah, I don't mind that at all. That's a huge XP bonus getter for me. And then yeah, I've been forced into doing a lot of trades for different card types, like Celtic ones and whatever. And then recently, yeah, we've managed to make some good acquisitions back into the club again after a big period of probably what will be sales when we look at that column. But guys like Nonto, Raquelme, Christopher Ayer, Roca. And then, as you've seen on the gallery recently, some really good cards have come in over the last couple of weeks to really bolster the club. And I suppose sales is the most fun part of making money. It's like when you sell a card and you're like, wow, look at all that money that I picked up for selling that. And if I go back to a year ago, the first card I sold for any sort of money was probably Julian Araujo here for about 0.2 Ethereum. I'm just going to highlight the main ones. We managed to sell Andre Silva, Leipzig, for about 0.5, 0.6 of Ethereum. Eric Garcia at Barcelona, we sold him for about 0.7 Ethereum as well, which feels great now looking back. Joe Willis about 0.4. Dane St. Clair for 0.4. Bilal Bayezid for almost an Ethereum. And then I did a big, now this is one I wanted to talk to you guys about when I was looking back at this. I did a big batch sale to Roddy Boss for 3.1 Ethereum. Now I was definitely not drunk, but I definitely wasn't sober either when I was negotiating this trade, and I maybe gave over a card or so too much, I felt at the time. But I think that Ethereum actually went out and helped me, business-wise, because I've obviously got a business here. Like, I make content, and this is, like everything I do. Some stuff on the go in that sense. And I had to go and get some Celtic cards. I had to go get Dyson Maedas and Kyogos and all the rest of it. But Van de Voort, Jack Hendry rare, Tolkien I miss. The rest of the guys not really too much. And then Kieran Trippier, we sold him for 1.25 Ethereum. So I think over like a couple of days there, that's like 4.5 ETH we pulled in over half a dozen cards. And those guys we'd had in the gallery for a good little while, and we watched them mature. We'd watched them develop into slightly better players. And then a guy like Roddy Boss here, he's a trader. You can normally go to these guys and negotiate bulk trades and whatever. So that was an opportunity for me to wrap a bunch of stuff up. The Van de Voort was definitely the most valuable part of all of that. But I'm managing to wrap up some other bits and pieces, and it helped me get more Ethereum than what the Van der Voort's worth, of course, and get it all up front. And that definitely helped me 9 months ago go on and really add in some of the Celtic cards that made such a big difference to my gallery. I'm scrambling about here, trying my best to get goalkeepers and different players in. I'm actually doing quite a lot of good business back here. And then, bang, we sell Taylor Harwood Bellis to Bobby Perez for 3.7 Ethereum, which at the time is just under 4.5 grand. Thank you very much. Great deal. Probably the biggest sale of the season, probably. I think the season before I sold Tonali for quite a few quid, and I did some big sales like Sane and a few other guys around that, but it feels like that was one of the bigger ones of the season, the Taylor Harwood-Bellis. Barco was sold for a decent wee chunk of money. We could have probably got a wee bit more for him. And then I started to massively sell off all of my limiteds to Pavel Trader. So I sold my whole limited gallery off to him 6 months ago. Can't remember exactly what that funded exactly, but I think that helped the gallery kind of shape and firm up a little bit, you know. This is all giveaway stuff. And then 5 months ago, yeah, the Premier League comes out and we start to make some big moves. And as you can see, some of these rewards and some of these, like at Barraza, I had like 3 Barrazas from when he was number 2 to Sean Johnson. And as he came in to be number 1, I started to shed some of them off through the season. And this one here was used along with the Balikwisha that I won, the Pedrinho I won, and a Gio Reyna who was going nowhere fast to get John McGinn and to get a unique in. And that unique flipped around and helped me in another trade later on. They helped me bring Odsonne Edouard unique in. I also sold my Denis Suarez unique, which I kind of regret now. I kind of miss him. I'd like to still have him. The Skorupski was a big acquisition as well. And again, that unique Cabrera came into that trade, as well as Van der Hart, Manoni, lower level guys I've been picking up, as well as rewards, cycle them into something bigger. And that's something I've always tried to do with my gallery, is snowball 3 or 4 guys into one guy that's much better and more reliable. It does cut your options off for guys you can sell into the market later on. But for me, who prioritizes SO5 yield, winning cards to be able to sell, winning money off the leaderboard, and winning thresholds, quality players mean more to me. Big trade here to get Gabri Vega in. So again, I'm able to do a lot of business with cards because I always, and again, guys, I pride my club on always having good players in it. I don't like having bad players. I only buy good players. I only bring in players that I believe in. And again, as I'm looking through all these transactions, nobody else is really jumping out here as major. I think we've looked at a lot of the major sales of the season. I don't think there's been anything recently that's worth note. Rafi Guerrero, this is probably a decent one, but he's a wee reward. So we sold him for 0.27 Ethereum. And in the proceeds of that, we managed to go out and really enhance my depth for the upcoming European season with the collection bonus in mind. We picked up, with that money, Daniel Wass, Nordi Mukiele, Yavi Serrano, and Samuelino. So that was a great kind of turn one good guy into 4 just as good guys kind of move. So that's always a fun trade and a fun sale to make as well. The job Sorare does at really enhancing being a football fan, for me, is really their secret sauce. So when they unveiled the NBA at the turn of this year, even though I'm not a basketball fan, I had to get a slice of the action. I had to get what I thought an early adopter kind of opportunity to get in on first day auctions, on year 1 issue cards, throw them in the back of my gallery and watch the basketball road pan out similarly to the football one. Let's see how that pans out, okay? But I've got a little roster of basketball cards here. Some of them are quite good. I've tried to focus on rookies. I've tried to focus on young guys. I won the Jimmy Butler. I know he's a bit older. And yeah, I'm trying to just focus on those guys. Good year 1 issue cards that might hold some sort of cult status later on or whatever. Now, the gallery at the moment is just is worth under 0.8 Ethereum. And it cost me the whole basketball endeavor to this point just under 3 Ethereum. So that is a big loss leader for me. And something that I tried to diversify into. Now, I do feel that basketball will come good for me again. I might not have to carry this entire loss, as it were. I may be able to wipe my face. I do plan on winning some rewards in basketball. I can see them paying out Ethereum similarly to the way they do in football, which will send the market over there to recover, if not reach new all-time highs from where it's been in the past, and in which case I'll be quite happy to have this little foot in the door. So I'm a bit annoyed at how that's sitting, like 6 or 7 months into the investment, as it were, or into the diversification. And it does muddy my football numbers. So just for context. So on the 2nd of July last year, my realised card profit and loss on Sorare, as you can see, the purple dot there, is just over 30 grand. The trading exposure is the total amount of profit we've made from buying and selling cards to that point, and the gaming yield is how much ETH, or how much money we've won from the game to that point. Now, it says we've got 245 cards there. We had about 120 limiteds or something like that, so they really do skew up the numbers, as well as some of the basketball stuff that we've went through. But in general, the football trajectory has been really good, despite Ethereum crashing and a few other bits and pieces that are external factors that go against some of these numbers. This is all quite surface level. A year later, the trading exposure is 16 grand to the good. The total realized card profit and loss is about 20 grand to the good, and the gaming yield is more than doubled. The gallery value has around halved in that time, so has the card count, and we do have, like I said, the basketball kind of fly in the ointment there. So a few different things moving around there, but overall throughout the last year, that's about 21 grand withdrawn. Not bad for a fantasy football game, is it? Withdrawn. Made. And my gallery is really modest, and I have the burden, guys, of not being able to snowball my money in like virtually every other player in the game. I'm trying my best to be a full-time Sorare player, a full-time football person, football commentator, analyst, whatever. And Sorare has given me an amazing vehicle to kind of express my football knowledge, give me a reason to come on camera and talk to you guys, give me a reason to be listened to, you know, like in terms of, that's the way I feel. Like I do have credentials to watch football and talk about it because of, look at these results. With a gallery that's been getting continuously smaller and smaller and smaller, I'm managing to win more and more and withdraw more and more. Sorare are only putting more money on the prize boards, more money into the thresholds, more money can buy experiences on top of the amazing things I've managed to experience this season, like countless Celtic games and a couple of other fantastic opportunities. Like I mentioned, the Liverpool game, I went to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium with the Sorare community. I went to Aston Villa. I took community members to Aston Villa because of the Villa to Glory and all that good stuff. I went to Champions League with Harry Trades, and I've managed to do some amazing stuff on the Celtic channel as well. Celts are here, where I talk about Sorare Celtic stuff and just Celtic stuff over there. And for me personally, guys, it's been a wild ride. This channel and all my channels are tiny, but because of how amazing this community is, how amazing you guys are, and kind of how good I am at this game that I can afford to keep all this above my head, it's all possible. I cannot do any of this without your support. It means the world to me. You've got no idea. If you've made it to this part of the video, then you are a legend. Thank you very much. I cannot do any of this without you. The 23-24 season, guys, we reached 5 podiums last season. I got 6 top 10 finishes on top of that, 4 top 20 places on top of that, and 16 top 50 finishes on top of that. And it's that metric that I try and set my goals against. This season, I want to do better than last year. I'm actually a bit disappointed in 5 podiums. I think 6 or 7 could have definitely been achievable this season if I had a wee bit better luck. I'd got some different cards in at some different points and, you know, a few other bits and pieces to one side. So I think 7 podiums is the target for this coming season, starting from now, the 3rd of July, or whenever you're watching this. I don't know. 10 top 10s would be an improvement of 4 from last year. I think we could do that. We had 4 top 20s. I think we could probably stretch that to 5 or 6 quite easily. And the top 50s, if we can get that to 20, then would be that percentage-wise, that would be great growth for me in terms of success rate. And I think I've got the cards, I think I've got the strategy, and I think I've got the makeup to go and attack these divisions in that kind of way as well. In terms of the threshold, I'm going after the super rare threshold every game week that's going. Over the European season, I would expect to hit it around 3/4 of the time throughout the main European season. And over a calendar month, I would expect to win the rare threshold, which is $50, and the super rare threshold, which is $200 with the gallery I've got, around 4 times a week. I would hope to pull out of thresholds around $1,000 a month on top of everything else, because these statistics we're looking at have not had these cap divisions in this format for any significant length of time. So I'm very much looking forward to a great increase in output, you know, 20 grand banked over this year. I think we could double that this year, I really do. I say we, FC Barcelona, my Sorare club. To do that, I'll need to sell some more cards, of course, like we've seen in the video today, for some big money. I'll need to pull in some big wins, and I'll need to trade really astutely in the market. So all the buys I make, like I've already mentioned in the video, I don't like buying subpar players, you know, so again, I've got to keep that eye extra keen. It's been good to see as well, proof in the pudding. The guys I do buy for cheap, I have been managing to sell for significant profit when the proof comes to the pudding, you know, when it is seen that they are a very good football player. That guy Quinny was right. I hope you've enjoyed this one, guys. I cannot wait to check out the comment sections to see what you think of all this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and retweet, and all that good stuff. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.